Good morning to another motivational Through the Bible word for the day. Today we're going to be looking at basically talking about investing a little bit. I don't know your knowledge level of the Bible, but a lot of people think it's just a lot of do's and don'ts. But there's also a lot of advice in there regarding everyday practical life. Matter of fact, if you go through the book of Proverbs, you'll see a lot of advice on not co-signing, on not being lazy, not committing adultery, of course. Also, what to do with money, what not to do with money, who to hang out with, who not to. And then you get into Ecclesiastes, which is, it's wise also. It's a little more bitter in some places, where he kind of focuses on the vanity of life and material possessions and everything. And he also, it's odd because he also, one of my favorite verses in Ecclesiastes talks about, go anoint your head with oil, dress in white, eat your food, drink your wine, rejoice with your wife. It's the gift of God to do these things in a joyful manner. And I don't know how closely you've been watching current events, but we had recently a lot of people, sort of these apps and phone apps and the internet and everything has opened up investing for the common person to just get an app on your phone and buy part of this and sell part of that. It's pretty amazing. And believe it or not, the Bible talks about that. It talks about diversifying your investments. If you'll go with me to Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 1, it says, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days. Give a serving to 7 and also to 8, for you do now not know what evil will be on the earth." Then we get all the way down to verse 5. "As you do not know what way of the wind, or how bones grow in the womb, or her who is with child, so you don't know the works of God, who makes everything. In the morning sow your seed, and in the evening do not withhold your hand. For you do not know which will prosper, either this or that, or whether all alike will be good. Truly light is sweet, and it is pleasant for the eyes to behold the sun. But if a man lives many years and rejoices in them all, let him remember the days of darkness, for they will be many, and all that is coming is vanity." If you kind of glean through that and go into some imagery, he said, "Cast your bread on the waters, and after many days it will return to you." That's an obvious imagery of investing. Jesus also said, you should have taken, when he talked about the wicked, lazy, slothful servant, he said, when he gave talents to all the different ones, which talents is like 17,000 pieces of gold or some enormous amount of money, and he gave talents to each person according to their ability. A master gave to this guy so much money, this guy so much money, that guy so much money, this guy so much money, according to their ability. The guy who was lazy and slothful hid it and gave his master back the exact amount. The other guy went, bought, sold, traded, did this, bought a piece of land, sold it, worked with the money, gave back to his master with interest. Like 2 people did that. The last guy didn't do anything with it. He just hid it and said, "Here's what you gave me, you can have it back." And he said, "You wicked, lazy, slothful servant, you should have at least put it in the bank so I could have gotten my investment back with interest." So Jesus mentioned this concept, and Solomon's talking about right here. Cast your bread upon the waters. Invest. God doesn't want us to live a random, haphazard life. He wants it to be one of focused wisdom and planning. Don't squander your money, and don't invest all your eggs in one basket. I remember a little nursery rhyme story where the girl's walking along, she's got all her eggs in one basket, and the basket drops, and she loses everything. And they're like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So Solomon said the same thing. He said, you don't know what's going to prosper, this or that. So sow your seed. Don't withhold your hand. You don't know which one's going to prosper. So let's break it right down, Barney level. You got these phone apps. You can invest in anything. There's certain ones I invest in. Now, of course, use your conscience. If you're a Christian, don't invest in Planned Parenthood, which harvests deceased baby parts and sells them. Don't invest in that. But America's really great. We have the stock exchange where private citizens can own part of a corporation. And when that corporation shows a profit, you can earn profit. And You could buy a share of a company for this much, and later on it skyrockets up and it's worth this much. And of course, you know, the Bitcoins and the cryptocurrencies are amazing, where it's a keychain of crypto currency, which can be easily traded without any centralized government or authority. And it's really interesting. So the Bitcoin just skyrocketed up, Dogecoin, and all these people are investing in it. And I would say, as a Christian, you should take advantage also of, live a life of investing, of, Solomon even said risk, and Jesus said risk. Take chances, work with what you have. Don't just live a stagnant life. Now watch out for the scams. Of course, use wisdom. There's always a scam out there. I mean, if you watch YouTube, you're going to see a scam. Hey, everybody, yeah, you know how I drive this Maserati now? Buy my new plan on blah, blah, blah. It's like, you pretty much understand what's scam and what's not. But Solomon said this. He said, invest. Cast your bread on the waters. Invest. He said, invest in this, invest in that. You don't know which one will prosper. Maybe both of them will prosper. So use the money God gave you to make it grow. Work with it. Be diligent. Don't just sit around expecting good things to happen to you if you do nothing. If you don't work, or you don't invest, or you don't try to live a focused, planned, wise life. So yeah, investing's in the Bible. Jesus mentioned it. He said you should have taken what I gave you and put it in the bank, and it could have grown with interest. Solomon said, plant your seeds. You don't know which one's going to prosper, this or that. Take a risk. Cast your bread out on the waters. Many days it'll come back to you. So I think someone out there needs to hear this. If you're living a very reserved life and you're not taking chances with investing your money, or because right now is the greatest opportunity to do that. If you have a cell phone, you can download Cash App, Robinhood, all these different things, and say, you know what, I'm going to buy some of this stock. I'm not just going to let my money sit in a bank or maybe a stagnant 401k or whatever. I'm going to invest it. And God teaches the wisdom of that. So if you have something, use it to gain more. And that's just part of the wisdom of God, and you will prosper. All right. The Hebrew word for prosper is kashar, and that only appears 3 times in the Old Testament. In the book of Esther, it's translated right, meaning correct or acceptable. And here in Ecclesiastes, the author says that wisdom brings success, or kashar. Wisdom brings prosperity, meaning that prosperity and success in our endeavors come as a result of wise thinking and planning, and not just constant striving. Okay, so I want you to live a life of wise planning, investing, and thinking. And God wants you to do that too. There's a cliche in this world that if you're a Christian, you're a dumb, hillbilly, gun-toting retard who isn't educated and doesn't live a life of planning and purpose. I found it to be the opposite. I live down here in Georgia, where the state overflows in prospering businesses and people and smart people and endeavors, and it's got a huge Christian population, and the Christians I've met aren't idiots who aren't aware of current events, investing, or your stereotypical, oh, if you're a Christian, you're a backwards hillbilly retard, you know. It's not the case. God wants us to be wise in all of our affairs, at your job, with your money. Now let's go a little bit more into this. Of course, I tie these into spiritual connections. So what could you do with your spiritual gifts and talents and times to invest them that they will prosper? Well, I teach Bible studies. Maybe you have other spiritual gifts. You should invest them. You should use them, because God's going to want a return on his investment in you. We know Jesus, when he talked about the parable of the talents, you know he was really meaning in a spiritual sense. He gave gifts to everyone according to their ability. And when he returns, he's going to say, what have you done with your life that has glorified me, furthered my kingdom, furthered the preaching of the gospel, furthered my will on earth? And some are going to look at him and say, I was timid, I was afraid, I took the talent you gave me and I hid it away. I never taught a Bible study. I never witnessed to anyone. I never sang a song for you. I never did anything with the time, talents, and energy you gave me. I had one pastor, and he used to put it like this. He said, some people don't even use all the mind that God gave them. God wants you to study, go to college, or use your life to the fullest of its ability. And that's the premise of this message. Use all your spiritual gifts. Invest your time, talents, and energy in something that will cause them to grow. If you can paint, paint. If you can play guitar, play guitar. If you can witness for people, you need to do that. It's like Ronnie James Padovani said, the less you give, you're a taker. So give of your time, talents, and energy to others, to God. Always remember the greatest way to give is many times not just spiritual, but if you can feed the hungry, feed the hungry. If you can clothe the naked, clothe the naked. If you can by all means visit the sick who are in prison or in a hospital, visit them. So don't waste and squander your money, your time, your talents, and your energy. Live a wise, purpose-focused life. You only have so much time on earth. Do the most with it you have today to do the most of your time, talents, and energies that God gave you. So take all these lessons and apply them. If you have money sitting around not growing, wisely invest. Live a wise, focused life. I hope this was encouraging to you, and I hope you know God has put many gifts inside you. He gave every one of his servants talents according to their ability. Have a great day.